Today we are traveling over to the coldest continent in the world, a place covered in unforgiving ice with temperatures as cold as negative 128 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative 89 degrees Celsius. Let's explore Antarctica and some of its dark discoveries, such as a ghost ship where all the crew members on board had frozen to death, or a 20-centimeter long worm. Let's talk about these and more only on today's Top 10 list. But before I go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the Adventure Challenge for sponsoring today's video. The Adventure Challenge is a scratch-off adventure keepsake album that will help you make memories that you will never forget. Basically, you can purchase this book or purchase a package that comes with a Polaroid camera and the book. The book is filled with 50 unique scratch-off adventures. You don't know what adventure you're gonna get until you scratch these bad boys off. From there, you bring your camera with you and take photos that will last a lifetime. Then when you finish the challenge, you have the cutest keepsake out there. Like, imagine this filled with your Polaroid pictures. They even have a spot where you can peel and stick the Polaroids there, and you can write little notes of like what happened on this adventure that was like funny or something like that. What's great is that there is a book for everyone, whether you want to complete this by yourself, with your friends, family, or your partner. I personally got the Friends book, and I'm super excited to have a little adventure in my own hometown. Also, Valentine's Day is coming up, and this would make an amazing gift. If you're interested, then use the code MOSTAMAZING15 to get 15% off any of their products at checkout. And now, let's talk about some adventures people went on in Antarctica and the discoveries they made. Starting off this countdown, we have the UFOs. There are tons of urban legends surrounding Antarctica. In particular, it's thought that aliens once lived there after crashing into one of the mountains. From there, it's believed that they had their own secret base there. Well, in 2019, UFO hunter Scott Waring was on Google Maps looking at Antarctica from above when he spotted what he thought to be a UFO trapped under Antarctica's ice. According to Scott, he was looking over an island in Antarctica when he saw the craft. He said it was triangular in shape, has a hump in the middle, and it has a thicker edge. He believes that with global warming melting more and more of Antarctica, that the craft, which was once lodged in the ice, is slowly starting to reveal itself. But of course, no one has actually gone out to that spot to investigate what it might be. So it could just be ice, or it could be a real alien spacecraft. Now, I'm just a little concerned when that thing fully thaws. Like, I don't need no aliens coming back to life. No, thank you. In our 9th spot, we have the Loch Ness Monster. And if you guys are liking this video so far, then make sure to give it a big thumbs up, because you know what? It really helps us out. A couple of years ago, another man was on Google Maps when he saw what looked to be a big monster lurking in the water. It was this massive dark mass that had a lot of people terrified. But later, it was debunked, saying that it was just a bunch of rocks. But did you know that a real-life Loch Ness Monster did once roam Antarctica? Yeah, over the course of a number of expeditions, scientists have discovered fossilized remains of a massive creature. And they say it's unlike anything they have ever seen. These remains are over 70 million years old and are from a creature that would have weighed about 15 tons. Not only that, but this thing was massive. It was 36 feet long. Now, it's considered to be part of the Elasmosaurid family, but this thing is the largest of its kind ever found. In our 8th spot, we have the Blood Falls. Now, if you're visiting Antarctica, this for sure would give you a heart attack. So they have something they refer to as the Blood Falls. There's a place where it literally looks like it's gushing out blood. It's like when the elevator doors open in The Shining and then like all that blood just gushed out. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So this was discovered back in 1911 by an Australian geologist. But don't worry, it's not actually blood. At first, it was thought that it was a result of microscopic red algae. But in 2003, it was actually discovered that the color was a result of oxidized iron. Nonetheless, it looks very creepy. In fact, I've seen this image circling around the web before, and people are using it as a PSA of like all the animals that have died in the Arctic and that's their blood. Clearly, it's false, but again, a very creepy image. Moving on to number 7, we have the creatures. Antarctica is home to a number of very creepy looking creatures. It was previously thought that because of its harsh conditions, nothing could survive there. But scientists have discovered a number of weird species that have adapted to survive in the environment. First off, let's talk about the sea spider. Now, Antarctica isn't the only place that has these creatures. But naturally, the sea spiders in Antarctica are massive. In Europe, these spiders are about the size of your fingernail. In Antarctica, they're the size of a large dinner plate. Now, technically, they aren't actually spiders, even though they have 8 legs. They belong to a class of species called pycnogonids instead of arachnids. Seriously, these creatures are terrifying looking. It's like a mixture of a crab and a spider. And those legs are super long. What's super weird about them is that they pump blood with their guts. This is the first time that this kind of circulatory system has been seen in nature. And they breathe through their skin, which actually allows more oxygen to be absorbed into their bodies, which allows them in turn to grow bigger over time. How great. Coming in at number 6, we have the plane crash. In the 1970s, Antarctica, for some reason, was the place to travel to. Tons of tourists from New Zealand were booking day trips to Antarctica. However, one of these trips ended very badly. Due to low visibility, the plane crashed at the side of Mount Erebus. To this day, remnants of the crash are still there on the mountain. As for the passengers on board, well, their bodies were removed and stored at an American base on Ross Island. Many visitors to this day believe that this site is haunted by the ghosts of the passengers who died in the crash. People have heard eerie voices, felt ghostly presences, and have discovered unexplained footprints. One of the workers at the station experienced this all himself and is convinced it's haunted. So yeah, there's ghosts in Antarctica. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the ghost towns. Believe it or not, but Antarctica is filled with ghost towns. This is from humans trying to live there, but ultimately finding the weather conditions to be way too harsh, and then they end up just leaving. And they leave everything behind. As a result, there are tons of abandoned buildings and structures all over Antarctica, from military bases to research stations to huts. You get the picture. Back in the early 2000s, however, a team of scientists went to Antarctica and found something very disturbing. While exploring some of the abandoned buildings, they found several frozen bodies. Most likely, these people weren't properly equipped for the cold. But still, that must have been a horrifying find. In our 4th spot, we have the bristle worm. Okay, if you thought the sea spiders were bad, wait until you hear about this bad boy. This is something straight out of your nightmares. Basically, it's a worm-type creature with bristles, hence the name bristle worm. Its nasty-looking bristles help it crawl along the ocean floor and swim, and also to protect itself. This creature also has pretty sharp teeth, and it's a carnivore. So, you know, there's that. Oh, and it extends its jaws to catch its prey. It gets worse. This thing is huge. It can grow to more than 20 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide. No, thank you. No, that's just no. And the part of the creature that looks like it would be its head, no, that's its throat. I know, I'm grossed out too. And at number 3, we have the penguin mummies. I mean, like ancient Egypt mummies, not like the penguin's mom. So in 2016, a group of scientists discovered hundreds of mummified penguins in Antarctica. Since Antarctica has little precipitation and is dry and cold, it can mummify animals much like a desert would. In fact, it's still considered a desert even though it's cold. Well, anyway, scientists found a large amount of mummified penguins, many of which were just chicks. Some of the birds were from 200 years ago, others were from 750 years ago, all still perfectly preserved. It's thought that these birds died because of global warming. The weather drastically changed on these animals and it caused them to slowly die. Nonetheless, it must have been pretty creepy to arrive there only to find a graveyard of mummies. In our 2nd spot, we have the monument. In 2009, a bunch of scientists in Antarctica discovered something rather strange. It was a monument with a bust of Vladimir Lenin on top, the former premier of the Soviet Union. After digging around the half-buried monument, they discovered an old Soviet Union military base, which by then was covered completely in snow. Had it not been for the monument sticking out, they probably would have never found it. Here's where it gets strange. After they unearthed this monument, the men began to become haunted by Lenin's ghost. And other explorers have claimed to have seen a ghostly apparition in that area, and they claim it looks exactly like him. Freaky, I know. Sometimes what's buried is sometimes better left buried. And in our number one spot, we have the ghost ship. Back in 1823, a boat named the Jenny left port on an exploration. However, along the way, something went wrong, and it seems like the men aboard starved and then froze to death. The boat then got trapped in the ice in Antarctica. Several years later, a crew passing by noticed the ship and decided to climb aboard to see what's up. There they found the entire crew frozen to death, perfectly preserved. One of the last journal entries from the captain read, "May 4th, 1823. No food for 71 days. I am the only one left alive." That is so creepy. Alright guys, let's move right along to our comment shout out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, top 10 cursed videos that should be deleted. Chelsea George commented, the reason it was censored was because he was ripping off his fingernails. Oh god, I really could have just gone on without that information. Also, how did you figure that out? Don't want to know. Moving on. Ashley Cian commented, I decided to eat while watching. I got so scared I couldn't eat. Yeah, maybe not eat when we're talking about like disturbing videos or something like that, because it's really disturbing. You'll probably lose your appetite. Dominic Meeham commented, she definitely has a hickey, lol. No. Okay, it was a scratchy mark at the side of my neck from dust. I get those irritations on my neck and like on my face, and sometimes it's really bad. Like right before I film, I have one right here, but you can't see it. Anyways, that's all the comments I'm showing out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya.